Hey everyone. So I had someone ask me a question about our project bags, which we call layover totes, and wanted to know a little bit more about the capacity of each of the sizes. So I thought I would do a quick video and just show you what I stuff in these. So this is our small size, our medium, and our large. We're going to start with the small. We'll get to these guys in a couple minutes. Alright, so first of all of our layover totes are completely reversible. So you do get two looks in one bag. They have these overlapping flaps that button closed, which is really nice because you can keep your project, your working yarn in the bag, and you can actually take your sock or your project out and thread the yarn through that cross in the flaps, and you don't have to deal with cutting the yarn if you want to change your project out like some bags. So let's take a peek at what's in here. Alright, so obviously I have a sock whip. I always have a sock whip. These small bags are really good for sock knitters, and I have enough room in here to fit the socks I'm working on, plus yarn for my next pair of socks, plus DPNs, plus we always need good hand lotion, right? Knitters, spinners, crocheters, crafters, we need to take care of our hands. And then in the bottom of this, I have one of our lexical notion pouches. We make these little pouches for carrying around all of your notions so they don't float around in the bottom of your bag. And in here I have some stitch markers, a set of Lop-Off DPNs. These are recycled needles. We take long needles and we lop them off into shorter lengths, and they're really good for when you only have a few stitches, like on the thumb of a glove, or Kitchener closed a toe, a cable needle. I always have them in my project bag. And then I have a knit kit. So before I pack that all back in there, let me just show you. Oh, I forgot some stuff. There's more in here. So there's also an interior and an exterior pocket. And I have my sock pattern that I use, my vanilla sock pattern. And then I always have paper and a pencil because, well, we always need these, don't we? So now if I want to just reverse the bag, super simple. There's another set of buttons on the inside. This is actually how I usually use this bag because I love the foxes on the outside. And then we're just going to crisscross those flaps and button it closed. And we're good to go. So I'm going to pop all this back in here, and then we'll move on to the medium size. And the medium size is really good for shawl knitters. I almost always use one for a shawl. And I also really love it for taking my spinning. When we vend at shows, a lot of times I will demo drop spinning, and I love to take my spindle and my fiber and my Knitty Nasty and pack it all in there. So that's what we're going to look at next. Alright, not as tidy as the first time I put it together, but as you can see. Oop! Almost forgot my pattern. As you can see, it all fits back in there just fine. And this one has a slightly slimmer handle than the medium size. The medium size does have a slightly thicker width handle. And both of these have a short strap on them. So that is something to keep in mind. But if you want a longer strap, we do custom orders, and we've made those so many times if you want to wear them cross-bodied. So same thing with this bag, overlapping flaps. This is the medium size, and as you can see, I crammed this full because I just wanted to see how much I could fit in. So I've got another braid of comb top for when I finish the spin that I'm working on, because it's Tour de Fleece, so I'm doing a lot of spinning. And I've got the spindle that I am spinning on right now. This is one of our Lena, our lightweight spindles that has this beautiful decorative wood burning. And I have one of our Lampetia, our larger class of spindles for plying. And I have all of the fiber I haven't spun yet. And I've got a nice ball of singles that I have spun, all in a center pull ball. And of course I've used my Niddy Nasty to do that. So for those of you who aren't familiar with our Niddy Nasty, I will just show that really quickly as well. This is a spinner's tool that we developed based on our own needs as travel spinners, because we do shows and we take our spinning with us. So you have a traditional Nasta pin with a wrap per inch gauge on the handle. And then we have these crossbars that go in, and it turns into a Niddy Nasty. This is a 1/2 yard wrap, and we actually are in development on a 1 yard wrap size. So if you guys are interested, keep your eye peeled. That's going to be coming out this fall. So anyway, I have all of that spinning stuff in that medium size. And if you're a knitter and you don't spin, this is a great bag for shawls, cowls, you know, anything that's going to be a little bit bigger than socks. Or, hey, you could put like 3 sock projects in there. And same deal with reversing it. I'm not going to go through it again, but very easy. I usually find one way that I love, and then I keep the bag that way, but sometimes I just get in a mood and I want to change it. Alright, so I'm going to pop this all back in here, and I'm going to overlap my flaps. And a lot of times if I'm too lazy to unbutton these flaps, I will just sort of reach in and grab what I need, but I'm lazy that way. So now this Big Kahuna is our large size, and this one has not only an extra wide strap, so you can see in comparison to the medium, not only does it have an extra wide strap, but it has an extra long strap, so you can actually wear it cross-bodied, which is my preference, because if you're hauling around as much stuff as fits in this big bag, you probably want to wear it cross-bodied. So again, it's the same concept with our overlapping flaps, but this large bag is a little bit special because we actually have a removable divider in the inside to help break up this huge inner space. So I really crammed this thing full. So I have some of my Tour de Fleece spinning, finished hand spun. I have another random skein of hand spun that I grabbed to fill some empty space. I have a whole set of needles in the interior pouch here, pocket. And if you guys can see, this is the removable divider, and it has an extra thick interfacing, so it's very firm, and it helps split up your areas. I do spinning on one side, knitting on the other sometimes. Sometimes I do snacks on one side and knitting on the other. But what I have crammed in this one side is an entire sweater, finished sweater. Okay, folded up, but still. And I don't know how many of you guys have made the Find Your Fade, but I also crammed my entire Find Your Fade in there. So that took up about half of the bag, and I still have all this room on the other side. So I have yarn for my next pair of socks, and I have my scrappy crochet granny stripe blanket, and my crochet hook, and a knit kit. And I still really had room to spare, but I kind of ran out of stuff. So if you can see that big pile of stuff that I fit in there, it really holds a lot. And also, what I like to do sometimes is I will have my knitting in a medium bag or a small bag, and then I'll just pop it inside the large bag to kind of help break up my projects, but carry them all with me. So I'm going to try to give you a closer look at this removable divider. there are a series of buttons that hold it in. This is going to be a little hard for me to show you guys, but I will do what I can. So, I'm just going to quickly unbutton it. And the reason for this removable divider is to maintain the reversibility of the bag. So this is what the divider looks like. Okay. And you can see that there are 2 buttonholes on each side. And when I flip this bag inside out, you will see those buttons that were on the inside of the bag are now on the outside. And these buttons are very flush to the fabric, so they don't really catch on anything. It's not ever really been a problem when I've been using it. And if I want to then put the divider back in, there's another set of buttons on the inside of this, of course. So let me just quickly do that. And I absolutely love taking this large bag to shows when we go to yarn shows and fiber festivals, because I can carry everything that I need to and haul it all to our booth without having to carry 50 bags. It's really nice. So, one side buttoned in, and to the other side buttoned in. And a really good tip is if you find the button on the outside, if you're having trouble finding it on the inside, if you find the button on the inside, it lines up with the button on the other side, so then you can find it. And again, for me, I rarely keep reversing these bags. I usually find one way that I love, and then I just stick with that. But sometimes I like to match my knitting to my bag, so that can be a fun way to get more use out of the bag too. Alright, and then you can see that is securely buttoned in, and now we have our nice divided bag. So if I wanted to cram this medium inside this large and cram this small inside this large, I would still have a little room to tuck some holes in there. I could tuck a few little extra things in there. Some yarn. Always need more yarn. There's never enough yarn. My knit kit. I mean, I guess it depends on how much you like to cram your bags, really. I'm an overpacker when we go to shows. I don't like to be without that thing I just knew I was going to want to work on. So I try to take it all with me, and this is great for that. And then I just button it back up. And we're good to go. So I hope that helped you guys get an idea of the size and capacity of our bags. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. And we do always take custom orders if you're looking for something a little different, if you have fabric in mind, or you wanted, for instance, like a longer handle on one of the smaller bags. We're always happy to chat about those options. All right. Well, I'm going to get back to my Tour de Fleece spinning because I just haven't done enough of it today. And I hope that you guys have a great weekend. Bye!